You get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Popcorn? You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
This is the
Stale.
Popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mississippi River. How you doing, my friend?
Ooh.
Back at it again
Steve.
with another pun.
Let it Steve. Let it Steve.
Not as strong as mine, if I'm being totally honest.
Steve. Yeah, yours was better. Mine, I always forget about it till you say it. I panic and I
dare say my name is easier to rhyme with, has a more rhyming schemes than yours.
Yeah.
So next week, come prepared, gosh darn it.
Yes.
By the way, there's timestamps below if you want to take a jaunt, take a skip, jaunt around, that's fine by me. But Chris, I got a question. Do you like gaps in things?
Teeth, lanes, years.
Yes, but do you like gaps between Rotten Tomato scores of audience and critics?
What do you want me to say here, Steve? I'll say yes if you want me to say yes.
Yes.
I'll say no if you... What's going to make whatever the heck this is sound better?
You can say yes.
Yes, I love gaps.
Well, good news for you, Christopher. I have some gaps that I thought were pretty interesting. So lately, there was a movie that came out featuring your favorite, I guess your grandparents' favorite actor of all time, Dennis Quaid.
Ooh, yeah, love the Quaid.
And there's been some quite wide margins between critic score and audience scores. And I compiled a list of other audience scores and critic scores that had differences between themselves. So,
Okay.
Last Jedi had a 50% gap between the audience score and critic score. So, critic score was 91%, audience score was 41%.
That's the second to last?
Correct.
Okay, yes. I remember a lot of folks being unhappy and a lot of critics just creaming in their jeans.
Yes. Next one, Boondock Saints, one of your favorites.
Oh, audience gotta love that.
Oh, yeah. Audience 91%, critics 26%, making a 65% gap. Pretty big. But the biggest one is from your grandparents' favorite actor, Dennis Quaid, with his new movie that's out in theaters now, Regan.
Oh, yes.
Do you want to guess the gap, Chris?
Well, you said 60-something for the last one, right? I'm going to say like a good 72%.
Ooh, close. 79%, Christopher.
Ooh.
Critics hailing it at 19% score and audience at 98% score.
Funny story, my folks, they came to town and my wife, she was like, well, we could take them to the movies. Here, I'll take your mom and we can go watch something. You can take your dad. You can go watch that Reagan film. And she brought it up, and then she took my mom, and they watched Beetlejuice, and then I looked at the theater, and Reagan had left the theater like the day we got there, and oh, sorry, Dad, I guess it's already out of the theater, and like, you know when people get a little more senile and they just forget things, like, it was probably 3 or 4 times, like a couple hours later, hey, what do you think about watching Reagan? I'm like, sorry, it's not in the theaters
it's
anymore.
It's still not in the theaters anymore.
The next morning, it was just Reagan. And I'm like, yeah, it's too bad, just a good 3 or 4 times throughout 3 days. I really shouldn't have mentioned it. It broke his heart, but
man.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Well, that's interesting, Steve.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting with such a high audience score. I mean, generally, they're a lot closer than that, but that's on record as the widest gap between critics and audience scores.
Ooh, interesting.
Moving on, Christopher, are you looking forward to Gladiator 2?
Yes.
Well, stop looking forward to that and look forward to Gladiator 3.
All right, I won't even bother with the second.
Because Gladiator 3 script is already being written by Sir Ridley Scott. He said, quote, I've already got 8 pages. I've got the beginning and a very good footprint, he says.
Oh.
So I guess he's confident in Gladiator 2 as well as the studio because they're already counting their ducks and eggs or whatever the saying is, and they're going on for a number 3. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just wait for the third one and then I'll watch the second.
No, I think we should watch the second one and review it here. I heard it might be pretty good, so we'll see.
Oh, all right.
If nothing else, if it would be bad if it's just a okay movie. But I got some high hopes for it after that sweet trailer with the what was it, ASAP
Travis
Rocky?
Scott or something, yeah. My Gladiator. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, I have a personal question for you.
Yes.
Do you like other people named Chris?
Chris Pratt, Chris Pine, Ludacris, Chris Evans, Christopher Walken.
What about our friend Chris Nolan?
Ooh, Christopher, as I call him.
Yes. Breaking news, Chris Nolan is returning to Universal Studios for his next film with plans for an IMAX release in July 2026. Rumored to star Matt Damon, and he will be directing with a script that he wrote and will produce with Emma Thomas. Plot details are kept secret as anything in this down, though sources say the film is expected to shoot in early 2025.
I'm always a fan of Christopher Nolan. He's
Oh,
probably,
sure, yeah.
He might be my favorite director ever.
Favorite Chris Nolan movie, go. Off the dome.
Dark Knight. Are we counting Batman's?
I mean, he made it, didn't he?
Dark Knight.
Sure.
What's yours?
Oh, I mean, I can't have the same answer as you, Christopher.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to say Batman Begins, TBH.
Now,
Actually, Inception. Jeez. Inception. Inception. That's it. That's the one I'm going with.
I was actually discussing my ranking of this with our pal Sam the other day.
Mm-hmm.
In my order, I went, we kind of just threw out the Batmans, but then count those out, I'd go Prestige, Inception, Interstellar, Memento, Insomnia, Dunkirk, Tenet.
Do it slower, Christopher.
Oppenheimer. I'm trying to, I don't want to miss
I'm just
any
kidding, I'm
movies.
just kidding.
That's my order there.
No,
What's
that's a
yours?
good order. I might put Tenet lower than Oppenheimer, TBH, but
Yeah, those are his last two I wasn't super into.
yeah. But all bangers, if you ask me, Christopher.
You seen Insomnia?
No, I have it, though.
Ooh, caught you in your lie here.
Yeah. That's with Robin Williams, right?
Oh, yeah. Plays
Maybe
a
I'll
real
check it out.
creep. No, that one's good. I like that.
Yeah, I get that, yeah. We can't call ourselves a movie podcast if us 30-year-old men can't talk about Chris Nolan at least once, right?
Yes.
We're changing the game. We're doing it different, right, Christopher? We're different than other people, right, Christopher?
Is he a pretty common? Is that people
I
talk?
guess.
I feel like he's not on high of a throne as
He's
he once
very
was.
niche, yeah. Very niche.
Not a lot of people heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my wife, she used to be a Nolan nut.
Mm-hmm.
But she hasn't liked his last three. She didn't like Oppenheimer, didn't like Tenet, hated Dunkirk, and I guess the last one before that was Interstellar, because those are more the Nolan niche. The newer ones,
Yeah.
I like Dunkirk, but it's not as good as I like the psychological, mind-bending. What am I going to do? I start questioning myself. I'm questioning myself physically. I'm questioning my sexuality. I'm questioning everything. But now I'm just, Oppenheimer. Okay, that's pretty long. And I like Killian and Emily Blunt's hanging some clothes. Oh, all right, I get it. But not something
Yeah.
I'll probably watch again,
Sure, yeah. That's all the news I got, Christopher. What you got for me?
Ooh, don't got a ton of news here, but my favorite actor, or he's up there.
Sam
Keanu.
Rockwell? Oh, Keanu.
I love me some Keanu Reeves. Made his professional car racing debut in the Toyota GR Cup and placed 25th out of 35. He did spin out at one point, but signaled that he was uninjured and kept going.
That's pretty cool. He's doing that in between John Wick movies, just practicing racing? Or?
Yeah, just like, let me get some rides in here. But
Certainly.
Seems like a Keanu thing to just spin out and be like, it's
I'm
fine.
good. Thumbs up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. And Rachel McAdams is in talks to star in Sam Raimi's new horror film, Send Help, described as a horror version of Castaway mixed with Misery.
Misery the emotion or Misery the movie?
Misery, misery, misery.
You chose your path, I chose the path of the hero. Oh, wait, no, that's backwards. Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Godspeed. Did you like his Doctor Strange? Because I feel like I was the only one that was really digging it. And a lot of people complain, and I thought it was way better than the first one.
To be honest, I don't quite remember it very much. I remember there are a lot of Sam Raimi-isms, a lot of camera work that he did that was stuck out to me. But if I remember, I was quite kind of disappointed because of all the fake-out cameos that were like, hey, check out this person. Too bad they are dead now. You know what I mean? I don't think that's what I liked about it. But I love me some Sam Raimi. Drag Me to H-E double hockey sticks.
Oh,
is a classic,
Drag
a favorite.
Me to heck. I love that one.
What else he got? He's got Spider-Man. He's got
Spider-Man, Evil Deads. I don't know if he directed that one alligator movie where there's like a hurricane and they're getting attacked by an alligator.
Oh, I think it's called Slither. Slither? No.
No.
That's James Gunn.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Probably produced.
Probably so, but I like him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I got a couple Joker 2 news.
Oh boy, let me sit down for this.
Starts off with our boy Francis.
Mm-hmm.
Ford Coppola says he's a fan of Joker 2. Are you surprised by this?
Not at all.
Quote, ever since the wonderful The Hangover, he's always one step ahead of the audience, never doing what they expect. Congratulations to Joker Folle de Lou.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's just like, oh, thank you. Now people are not trashing my movie. I'm glad you did it a week after me to really get the taint off my back. I think that's an old saying in the South, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, nothing worse than back taint.
I'm willing to bet Francis hasn't even seen Joker 2, but he's pretty much just like, finally, somebody crapping on other movies than my stuff. Yeah.
This is all from Culture Crave. There's a big list of things about it. Okay, number 1, idea came to Joaquin Phoenix in a dream.
Okay. Yeah, I have dreams too, buddy.
Yeah.
But I don't put them on the film.
Yeah. Contemplated putting on a Broadway show before committing to making a movie.
Okay. That probably would have been more successful.
I guess. Todd Phillips had free reign with Warner Bros. Wanting him to do his thing, and the film had no test screenings.
Sure. Heard that.
Lady Gaga signed on before the script was finished.
Sure.
New DC boss James Gunn had zero involvement. Gave notes, but Todd Phillips didn't use them.
Sounds about right.
Film had a huge budget, $200 million, including $20 million salary for Joaquin Phoenix and $12 million for Lady Gaga.
Wow, $20 million.
Yeah. Musical aspect was largely downplayed in marketing, with director Todd Phillips at first insisting it wasn't one. Now, our boy Chris Nolan reportedly changed the ending of the first movie because it ended with Phoenix Joker carving a smile. There was no resistance for the sequel with Nolan leaving WB.
Interesting. I need to call Christopher myself. I have his number on speed dial, but I don't think he would go out of his way to be like, hold on, guys, dig his paws into other people's projects. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that sounds
think
something
of it
he'd
this
do.
way. If he's had his Batmans, he has the best Joker of all time, Heath Ledger. Then you got Joaquin, who's, we say did great, but imagine if he's going to turn into your Joker by slicing the little things in his face, and you're like, no, we don't want this.
Wait, Christopher, I'm confused because I saw an article like that too, but it said it was like Joaquin Phoenix did that to himself or he did that to someone else.
I don't know. I assumed it just says it ended with Phoenix's Joker carving a smile. Oh, so you're saying he makes Heath Ledger here?
Yeah, I think that's the article I read. Either way, yeah, it's
just like, oh, that's kind of... Just stay away from mine. You know what I mean?
You stay out. You understand me? You stay away from my project, you hear?
Exactly. Number 9, Todd Phillips was secluded on a ranch during the opening weekend. Do you think he saw what was coming, read the tea leaves? And it's just like,
it's a dark omen
crazy.
Coming, yeah.
Film was panned by fans and critics, currently holding a 33% critic score and 31% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Cinema score was D-, lowest ever for a comic book film.
Even lower than Madam Web?
Yes.
Wow. I don't know if it's Madam Web bad. What do you think? Is it worse than Madam Web?
I'll have to look at the run times and crank some numbers and decide. If it's the same time, I don't know. I think I didn't hate Madam Web as much as this. Like, Web was bad, but... I didn't hate myself, you know what I mean? Like, as much. I wasn't getting as frustrated.
I'd watch Madam Web again before I watch Joker 2 again. And that's just not just because of the recency buy that I have.
Yes.
Mostly because I forgot about Madam Web, and I'm like, that's probably a new movie to me if I watch it again.
Yeah. Domestically opened with $37.8 million, lower than comic book films like Morbius and The Marvels.
Yikes. Ooh,
Imagine making less than Morbius.
That's what happens when you hate the audience, the people who are paying to see your movie. You say, let's make a movie that'll not engage our fans at all. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. I've said it before.
Very bold.
Mm-hmm.
Needs $450 million globally to break even. May lose the studio over $150 million.
Mm.
And then 14, Warner Bros. Discovery is already over $40 billion in debt.
Wow. That's Warner Brothers like all together, including like James Gunn's movies.
Whew.
James Gunn's got a lot of pressure. Just curious, Chris, in that list of Joker news that you have does it list any other movies that have the first one crossed $1 billion and the second one made the least amount of money possible? They say anything like that? I feel like there's another record to be broken. Something like that.
It doesn't say it, but I would assume. I'm kind of trying to think of a sequel that would have that big of a drop off.
Yeah.
Maybe Scorpion King 2. I mean, I don't think the first one was making $1 billion. But
the first one made $5. The second one made $1.
Yeah, go percentage wise.
Yeah.
Dragonheart 2. I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's all I got. Actually, I got one more for you, Steve.
Ooh, is it? Glen's Corner, where I'm sitting in the corner looking at nothing but a picture of Glen.
He's in Edgar Wright's upcoming film, The Running Man remake. And it's got a release date to be released November 21st, 2025.
Oh, boy.
So we got just the perfect film to watch during your Thanksgiving season.
You can sit down, watch Chad Powers, watch some football, and then you can watch Glen running, man.
Oh, yes.
Sounds like a great time. Sit down with some turkey. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
I like the rolls. Stuffing's always good. How about you, Steve?
Not a fan of turkey. My family, we like macaroni and cheese. And potatoes. Nice crispy potatoes, yes. Anyway, Chris, is that all news you got for us?
That's all the news I got, Steve.
Well, I got a side question, and that question is, what you been watching?
I've seen a few flicks.
Only a few, huh?
No, I didn't go to the theater because there was nothing really coming out here. I'd seen it all. It's been the longest I've been without going to the theater, Steve.
I bet, yeah.
It's been days. The last movie I saw was Joker 2.
You're having withdrawals, yeah.
Yeah. You know what season it is, Steve?
It's spooky season.
It's spooky season, so we're trying to get a little spooked.
Yeah.
I got recommended this film from a mutual pal, our Sam here. He said, watch this film called 1 Hour Photo. You seen this? You heard of this?
With Robin Williams.
Yeah, you seen?
I think I've seen it a few years ago. I don't quite remember much. I know he's a little creep, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little creep. And it works out.
So this is right up your alley.
Yes.
Got him.
Yeah, you got me. He plays a good creep. He's good at acting. But I'll be honest, it's kind of just ho-hum for me. It wasn't really spooky. Not a lot really happens. A real slow burn. So to me, I'm not booing. I'm not clutch. Just a 0 for me. I'm just getting up and leaving the theater, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And then we watched a film that we were going to review, but then Steve said, I don't want to watch it. I'm too afraid. Something's here. I don't know. Platform 2. So basically, I say, we're potting on this tomorrow. And do you want to watch it, wife? Oh, yeah, sure. And then we put it on. And then right after, Steve's like, hey, can we do this movie instead? Oh, yeah, sure. Whatever, you know. Now, did you see this film?
I started watching it, but I didn't finish it.
Not into it, huh?
No. If I'm being honest, nah. It just wasn't for me. I like the first one better. Then again, I didn't finish it, so tell me.
No, you didn't really miss much. I agree with you. This one, it wasn't the worst movie, but it's definitely way worse than the first one. I remember liking the first one and thinking it was interesting because the whole plot is like they're in the platforms and this guy's trying to figure out how to game the system basically and help everyone. Versus this one, it's different plot. Just wasn't as interesting. And I feel like this one had a lot more of those hallucination mirage things where they're seeing dead people that aren't real, and I'm just like, it irks me. And then in the very end, there's a lot of like, it goes from literal to just some sort of symbolism, and not like reality. And I hate it when they do that. So
Sure.
I wouldn't really recommend it, honestly. If you really like the first one, maybe you can watch it. But honestly, me and my wife liked the first one, didn't really like this. Maybe I'll do it for a minute. It wasn't the worst movie, and it was free on Netflix, but still wouldn't really recommend.
Fair enough. Sounds
And
good.
then we watched a film today, Steve, and it's called Overboard. You heard of this?
I feel like you've mentioned this movie a few times here on the pod.
Have I?
Is it if I remember right, it's with that one guy. Oh goodness.
Mexican?
Is it the remake, the 2018?
Yes, the Anna Faris, whatever that guy's name is.
Yes, Eugenio Derbez.
You seen?
Butchered that name. I don't think so, actually.
It's a real cute movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a remake of the 1987 Kurt Russell one. I've never seen it, but it's one of those instant family genres. You've seen that one with Mark Wahlberg, where I'm like,
yeah.
I don't think a lot of people love it per se, but for some reason, I like that type of flick. A real lighthearted, kind of funny.
Yeah.
Make you shed a tear.
Mm-hmm.
I love a nice redemption, and this has got redemption. I'd probably stand up, give that a nice 4-minute standing ovation. It was a nice film. The wife liked it. I think it'd be a fun one to put on for you and the missus, and fun little flick. I mean, it's a little creepy and all if you really think about it, but just don't go too deep into that.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been seeing. How about you, Steve? You watching anything?
I watched a few episodes of a show on Netflix called Nobody Wants This, or Who Wants This?
Ooh.
With Kristen Bell.
I think my wife watched that.
Yeah, it's about
comedy
Jews.
Or
yeah, it's a romantic comedy.
About Jews? Oh, Schindler's? Or what are we talking
about? Goodness, Christopher, we're going to get canceled now.
Oh, what?
No, the main guy, he's a rabbi, and he has this love interest who's not a rabbi. Or, she's not a rabbi, she's not a Jew.
Oh, okay.
And, it just goes on their life and how they navigate all that thing and do that stuff. And I haven't finished it yet, but it's pretty fun. I like it, so I'm interested to see where it goes. But
yeah, she was raving about it. She said it was so cute and fun, and it had some guy that she liked from some other thing, and
I think Gossip Girl or OC, one of those. Yeah, one of those.
She liked it. I had never seen it.
Yeah,
nice. Anything else from you, buddy?
That's pretty much it. I've been quite busy this week, Christopher.
Oh yeah, me too.
Well, with that being said, you want to dive into the main course here?
Yes, let's jump and dive.
So, as Chris mentioned, we were planning on watching Platform 2 Electric Boogaloo. I kind of was just like, I need to take a break from all these movies. I feel like the last 8 movies we reviewed are kind of not ultra violent, but just kind of movies,
Yeah.
And I was like, you mentioned last week, you're like, the Wild Robot is pretty good, so we should watch that. If I can be completely honest, Christopher.
Oh, let's hear it.
I didn't really like it.
Really?
I loved it, Christopher. I got you.
I was shocked. My jaw was dropped.
Wow. You thought you were going to have to fight me, huh?
I know. I was getting excited. I was about to turn the whole internet against you. I'm about to throw you down the platform, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Without spoiling, I feel like before we get started, if you're on the fence about seeing this, just go see it out in theaters. If you have a heart and a soul, you'll like it. If you have a beating heart, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is just kind of go over some basic plot details, some pros and cons, and then spoils, and then go from there. But Christopher, you mentioned it last week. You liked it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I believe the 4 words you used were spectacular.
Yes, exactly. Those are the 4 words.
And I totally agree with you, buddy. It's got quite the star-studded cast, if you ask me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we got Lupita Nyong'o as the titular robot. And Pedro Pascal is a sly little fox. You got Mark Hamill as a bear. Bill Nighy plays a goose. And then Kit Connor, who is one of the main characters, Buckeye Bill, what's his name? The Bill, Bright Bill
movie. Oh yes.
Kit Connor, who I thought that was voiced by Stephen Wen. He sounded like Invincible Boy.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I was like, oh, that's Invincible.
Who's Kit Connor?
I didn't recognize him from anything. He's relatively new.
Oh, all right. Well, all right then.
But just like everyone else in this, he was great. I feel like everyone was great in this. I liked everyone and everything about it, to be honest. Just a quick plot summary. You got a robot whose name is Roz, super advanced robot. She accidentally lands on this remote planet, uninhibited.
No
Is that
humans.
the one? No humans on the island. She is overcome with the wildlife who hate her, and they're just like real aggressive about it. You know what I mean? They're just throwing rocks and all that. And she has a directive that she's a service robot, and she doesn't have any directives until she gets one, is to take care of a little goose, a little gosling, a little Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
She becomes its kind of adoptive mother, and her initiatives are to make it learn how to swim, make it learn how to fly, and then teach it how to fly south for the winter. And then the movie's just kind of that.
I agree with Steve. I mean, I already kind of raved about it last week, but it's a great flick. I'm not excited to watch more of these animation, kind of more kid movies, but it's a breath of fresh air.
Correct use of that term.
And, let me ask you, Steve, did you cry? Did you shed a tear?
I did. Multiple tears, multiple times.
Tears, yes.
Maybe we can get into that in spoilers so we don't ruin it for people.
Yeah. If you don't shed a tear, you don't have a heart.
I agree.
You got something wrong with you, you need to go see a psychiatrist. You're a sociopath. You're a
Dennis Reynolds type.
Yeah, exactly. But it's real funny, good animation. I watched it in RPX, so the sound, the music, it really just brings out the emotions in you, and it's a real good film. I'd recommend. I don't remember. I think I stood up and gave it like 7 minutes. I don't know. What are you saying? How long are you standing? Or
the number I wrote down is 10.
Ooh, 10.
I stand up and give it 10.
Against it.
Definitely one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yes, I agree.
Definitely best animated. Blew Inside Out 2 out of the water for me.
Way better. The wife, just so we're keeping tabs. Last week I said she'd only seen it twice. I was wrong. She was seen it a third time. She watched it 4 times now. But she went and paid the extra $3 to watch it in 3D yesterday. So she's up to 4. But I say let's dive into the spoilies here.
Let's do some cons, some slight cons, and then we'll get into pros. Do you have any cons? Do you have any negatives here?
Only main con is I didn't really love the ending. Like, I see why they did it. So basically it ends. You might have to remind me because it's been, I think, 2 weeks now since I've seen it. But they're trying to take the robot back, and the animals fight to stop them from taking her. And then she's like, they're just going to keep coming back. So then she kind of sacrifices herself and voluntarily goes to the robot place, and they're going to interact or like reset her, basically.
Yeah.
She's at the little place with all the robots, and her, hatchling kid shows up, and she's like, hey, I'm actually, I'm still me, and then it kind of ends. She's like, someday I'm gonna come back, but not today. And I just would have loved if she had made it back there. Just reunion. A nice, oh man, the tears I would have shed there if there was just one final, like, I'm back home again. I'm getting emotional just thinking about this, Steve.
Sure.
But that was kind of my main con. I wish it had more of a happy ending.
Yeah, it's a bit not ambiguous, but it doesn't feel complete.
Well, they're definitely gonna.
You think they're doing a second one?
Well, they have to if you're leaving it this open here.
Let me look it up real quick. It says the Wild Robot director reveals interest in making a sequel. Okay, I could see that happening. Fair enough.
I'm sure they are. Literally everyone loves the film.
Yes, but I don't think it's making a whole lot of money, which is really the only thing that studios care about.
Well, it's not making nothing. Like, it's not going to lose money.
It's not making Joker numbers, am I right?
It's so budget 78. It's made 102. So it's definitely going to at least make money.
Yeah, maybe because it's got to make like what 150 to break even.
Yeah, it's already past 100.
Well,
just wait till those Chinese get their greedy mitts on it. And
didn't think about the Chinese. Yep.
Yeah, come on.
Any other cons that you had in your back pocket?
Not really. Like I could try and force some. Nothing else. I mean, it would just be me complaining to complain, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to say no.
The only slight con that I had, and it's really nothing, is I did feel like the pacing was a bit breakneck. It was very fast, you know. It told a lot in the short time that we had there, but maybe just like a small breather here and there.
Yeah.
But it's really doesn't diminish the value, really. It's kind of just compared to other like kids movies, it's really like, well, here we go. There, next one, you know. And it did things different than what I expected it to do, which was actually nice, you know. Again, very minor con, doesn't ruin it for me at all, but we can dive into the pros.
Yeah.
I like that it was something new. I think you mentioned you weren't a huge fan of the animation, but I quite enjoyed the animation. I thought it was really cool, unique.
Well, I like
this is from
this animation. I'm just saying,
you're just saying, like,
animation movies in general, I'm not
Sure.
like hyped for.
Yeah, I feel like most animated movies, in the recent years, kind of going for that Pixar look where you're like, is this Pixar? This all looks like Pixar, Disney kind of stuff. And this is from DreamWorks. So hats off to DreamWorks for, again, redefining stuff. A couple years ago, we had it with Puss in Boots' Last Wish. That was a fantastic movie, and this is another addition to DreamWorks' repertoire. Animation's more akin to that, where it's like, it's not Spider-Verse, like Into the Spider-Verse style, but it's almost like that. I don't know how to explain it, but it looks great. That's what I'm trying to say, for lack of a better word.
Looks good.
Another thing that I really liked about this is it really is like a movie for the whole family. There's really not many of those coming out nowadays. I mean, like, you got Inside Out 2, but that one's whatever. But I really like that this one can be enjoyed by anyone and everyone, and it teaches some really good, like, strong moral lessons in a unique, fun way, in my opinion. You know, it teaches that even though people are different, there's you got to treat them alike, and that they're all deserve to be loved no matter where they come from or what they look like and stuff. And just great values all around, Christopher.
Yeah, I liked how you don't really see animals die, you know? You see where I'm going with it, like,
oh jeez.
So like what I'm saying is it was shocking to me when they just like, oh, the robot, she crashes in the nest and basically kills the Gosling's parents on accident because she's
yeah.
Or it'll be like animals trying to eat other animals and all this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of showing like, oh, there's circle life, animals eat each other, whatever. But then it's like, oh, in the winter when you're in this sanctuary, you know, all pals, like that type of thing where, like, I feel like most cartoon movies, it's like, if they were animals, they're like, oh, we're just gonna be fine and
just kind of silly, like, hey, how's it going?
We're never gonna. But it's like, well, yeah, we're gonna eat you. Let's not get it twisted, but you know, we'll be friends here. We'll work together, but we, I mean, we still got the food chain.
Yeah,
but I thought that was kind of fun. As just a real emotional film. Tell me, Steve, what part did you shed tears?
I think I cried 2 or 3 times in this, and the biggest cry I got was when the mom, Roz, the robot, is kind of spending time with the little gosling, Bill, and she's building a shelter for him because the fox is like, hey, you got to build a shelter for this thing, and she's putting all these logs on, and the little gosling is like, he's like, hey, I want to help, and he puts his little twigs on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like so cute, and like the robot, she's just a very directive, like, hey, don't help because it doesn't help.
Yeah,
very directive. Efficient. It got me. As a father myself, Christopher, like sometimes you'll be doing a task with your little one, and it's not about doing it perfect. It's about teaching the little ones how to grow, you know. And that one struck a chord with me. Yes. And also when she was teaching him how to fly, you know, she was running with him, and on her shoulder, I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, here it comes. Yeah. Here it comes. Tears, you know.
Mine, yeah. A couple big ones is when he takes off and she runs after, and then she's like standing on the ledge looking at him leave. I was just like, oh, God. And then
come back.
I'd say that the biggest one is like when he comes back and then she's gonna leave and she's like, he's trying to see her and their place, but she wasn't there. And he's like, I got so many things to say. I love you, Mom, blah, 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 you know? And then I'd say the biggest one is when she's like deactivated on the ship. They take her and he's like, you know, curled up, laying next to her, saying, oh, I love you. And then her heart start beating. I was like, oh, come on, man.
yeah.
Just so many of these, but
cute little moments. Yeah,
it's just a nice, feel good, uplifting, funny.
Another one of my favorite things about this is all the characters Like every one of them had some sort of substantial growth throughout the movie. For instance, Roz, she's this unfeeling robot, and she comes to learn about caring and loving this little gosling. I think that was the most emotional part to me is seeing Roz like become this mother, and she literally changes her programming to adapt to taking care of this little thing. And the parts that got me were the slight deterioration of herself in service of taking care of this little one. Like as the movie goes along, she gets chipped and parts of her break off, her leg breaks off, and oh man, it's just like parts of her chipping away. But she never complained about it. She was just had an objective to take care of this little one, teach her how to fly. And I was like, that's some heavy stuff, man. That's a good parent. And to be honest, I gotta shout out to my wife. It reminded me a lot of her. Shout out to my lovely, lovely wife. This was just good parenting. I was like, my wife does things like that. And it made me realize, the love of a parent, and just made me love my child and my wife more. If I'm not being too dramatic here, but it's just an uplifting movie where it made me feel those things, Christopher. Yes.
No, I hated my wife and my kid until I watched this. And now I love them, believe it or not. No, I'm with you. It's
yeah.
That's why I was saying earlier, like especially if you're a parent, it really just tugs.
Oh yeah,
on those heartstrings here.
Definitely.
But I guess those are kind of my main things I got here, Steve.
That's all I got. I would really recommend this to anyone. I can't imagine anyone not liking this. Like, to be honest, there's like so much to like about it. It's such a fun little, like, simple story about love and growth, and just what I needed personally in my life, Chris, after Joker and Speak No Evil and all these like grungy movies. I was like, finally a breath of fresh air of something nice and fun. So yeah, go see it if it's still in theaters for you, or catch it on streaming, but definitely see it.
Well, thanks for listening. Follow us on LinkedIn, on Farmers Only, Black
Subscribe
Planet.
to our YouTube channel.
Subscribe to YouTube. And
do all that jazz.
Yeah, catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Popcorn. You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pop.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Popcorn.